But hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm going to put myself off in this corner here. Thank you, internet. There we go. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to be talking about Unicult Manifestation Mastery. It's a course that's going to be taught on our amazing Discord server. Wowie wow. Sponsored by Canva. Pew pew. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to be teaching a course called UNICULT Manifestation Mastery, and all of the details are also over here in the corner, as you can see. The course is called UNICULT Manifestation Mastery. It's a 6-month interactive and intensive manifestation course. It's going to be happening Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the time that we usually have prayer circle when we had prayer circle on Tuesdays, and Thursdays it's the time that we do Thursday church. So I'm going to be taking over a lot of Thursday churches. I'll take some Thursday churches off just because that's 6 months of like something every week. That's a lot, guys. I'm a human being. I'm having a human experience here on this planet, which means I cannot do that all the time. We all need to take breaks. But it's going to be happening Tuesdays and Thursdays starting July 18th. So that's not this Tuesday coming up, but it's the next Tuesday. So mark your calendars, join Unicult if you haven't done so already. Grandma, get on in here. Get on in here. But yeah, so what I'm going to be doing here is actually teaching the first lesson that we're going to be learning. So if you're watching this and you decide to take part in the manifestation course, then you will actually be learning something twice, which is good. If you ever taken a class, that's why we record our class sessions, because if we don't have that information on hand twice, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. It's nice to like have a rehash of a session. But yeah, so I'm going to be teaching the first lesson from here. It's all about the hierarchy of change. But before I get into that, I kind of wanted to do just a quick breakdown. We kind of already talked about it. So I'll do a quick breakdown. I'll do the actual lesson on the hierarchy of change, and then I'll go ahead and answer any questions that you all might have. So it's like a Q&A session slash shameless promotion. I keep saying unintentionally, but it works really well for the branding. So yes, Unicult Manifestation Mastery, UMM, is all about unleashing your inner creator and how to create the life that you actually want to have without all of the, I don't know, weird bells and whistles where they're like, yeah, get the life you want to have. All you gotta do is pay $300 to me, and then you will be the most amazing person. $300 really isn't that much. It's like that weird sort of gatekeeping thing where it's like, okay, the most people who actually need this information don't have that money to give you. It holds everything up on a pedestal. There's nothing wrong with making a living, doing things that deal with spirituality and manifestation, but when you are essentially withholding that information from people who don't have the means to access it, that's when it becomes a problem. So that's why we're teaching this course on Unicult. So yeah, is a manifestation mastery course. I'm not going to talk about this because that's mostly for people who are like, when you actually join the course, you'll understand. But what we're going to expect over the next 20 weeks, like I said, this is a 6-month program. It's nearly 20 weeks long, but it's going to be filled with massive internal shifts, shifting within the internal world, understanding that that must change before your external world, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about mental, emotional, and spiritual liberations, miracles, synchronicities, unexplainable phenomena, and of course, manifestations, which is what the course is all about. We're going to be talking about inner peace and mental freedom, and having a deeper and stronger spiritual connection of your own understanding. So this is a course that is open to literally anyone's expectations or anyone's understandings of the universe. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to believe in God, or you need to believe in the spirit of unity. You need to believe in this. Even if you don't believe in a God, we're also going to be talking about the scientific nature of manifestation as well. Let's see, what else? And we're going to be talking about a whole new reality, how to have this whole new reality. So when we're talking about Nate's suggestion of doing timeline jumping, this is the precursor leading up to even after what happens once you jump timelines. What does that mean? The biggest thing is that you do gotta stick with it, which my little cat is covering up, but you do gotta stick with it. It's a 6 month course. There is a time commitment, but if you're a devoted member, then you can actually view recordings of the session. But if you're not, if you're just a member within Unicult, you can still come to the live sessions. But it is a pretty big time commitment, but it is available. It's accessible to you if you're a member of Unicult. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to talk all about this stuff after we actually talk about our first session. So I'm going to close that out, and then I'm going to go over to the other guy. Whoa, where's the other guy? Welcome to the internet. Give me a second to pull up the other guy. Boop, boop, boo, doo, doo, doo. This is my transition music. Only on a Space Freckle Camp Church do you get transition music that is sung live by Space Freckle, who sings, actually recorded a new song the other day. And I'll play it for you guys after it's mixed. I got somebody to like professionally mix this stuff for the first time. I usually mix my own audio, but I got someone to professionally mix my song. Whoa. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the hierarchy of change today. So that's what we're going to be talking about. It is the most basic level before even being like, whoa, manifestation, so cool. How do I get everything that I ever wanted? Before doing that, it's understanding that you need to change your approach on how to get things that you want. And that's even outside of like the mindset thing. Like, it is a mindset thing, but I feel like we've heard the mindset thing so many times. It's like, man, all you gotta do is just believe in yourself, dude, and you can have anything you want. And we're just like, great. I don't know how to do that though, because we have trauma, and it makes it really hard to do something as simple as believing in yourself. So it's like, what are the steps to do that? Break it down for me other than believe. Okay, thanks. So we're going to talk about the hierarchy of change. How do you actively change your reality? That's another thing we hear all the time. If you just change your reality, so we talk about timeline jumping. If you just jump into a new timeline, it's so easy. It's not that easy. How do I do that, dude? So let's break that down. The biggest thing, though, the quality of life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask yourself. And this is a quote brought by Richard Bandler. I did want to add an asterisk there. That, like I said, I'm making this course very accessible. Don't take that literally. A lot of people who come up with these quotes and stuff, they're like, I'm super rich, and all you gotta do is ask the right questions, and you're gonna be rich too. You're like, thanks. Oh man, if only I've asked myself the right questions. Like, why don't I have money? Maybe I would have these things. No, it doesn't work like that. But you can kind of use that as a general thermometer to kind of go to really ask yourself questions that kind of dive into you as a person. Why is it that I am afraid to talk to people? Why is it that going outside is something that I have a blockage towards? Why do these things happen, you know? So that's one thing that you want to kind of take into account. But when we ask quality questions, it can help us to create a quality life. You ask better questions, and as a result, you'll get better answers. So I again tie that into more so questions about yourself, not why am I not rich? Oh, it's because I didn't ask good questions. No, dude, no. But anyway, when we know ourselves, so like I said, asking a question about yourself, knowing yourself is how you gain self-awareness. And so throughout this, within this lesson, but also throughout the entire program as a whole, you're going to be asked a lot of high quality questions, questions that you normally wouldn't ask yourself. And it can create almost a sense of uncomfort sometimes. But it's only because you're essentially poking at things that you kind of tucked in the back. The reason why you didn't ask yourself those questions is because your mind didn't want you to confront that sort of issue. So they kind of tucked it in the back for your own safety. It's the whole point of keeping yourself safe, which we talk about throughout the course. But we're going to be asked a lot of high quality questions. And so your transformation, they lie in these questions. These are the windows to your soul. Like I said, we push them in the back because we want to protect ourselves and we don't want to talk about them, but we're going to be asking ourselves these important questions here. So this is why we have like a workbook, but like, yeah, do the workbook. It's so important. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to talk about that today, but yeah. So that's why it's important to think about these questions. And if you need to sit with these questions, that's okay too. We went backwards. Go forward. There we go. So, um, I'm not going to go through that. We're going to jump straight into the hierarchy of change. So, the hierarchy of change is made from Robert Dilt's logical levels of change. This is kind of how we break things down. So we generally start here. We have the environment. That's our result. That's how we get up here. We start here and then we go up here to our behaviors. If I just change my environment, if I just like clean up my room and stuff, then I'll be super amazing. I just need to start with that. And then after my room is clean, then I'll be a great person. And then after I'm a great person, once we've done our like behavior stuff, then I will understand that I am capable of doing anything. Because I mean, look at my room and look at how great of a person I am. And then that in turn changes your values and your beliefs. After you understand everything that you're capable of, you're like, yeah, I did this. I'm super great. And now I believe that I'm great in my core. I'm great. And that I goes to your identity. You're like, I'm a great person now. And all it started was me cleaning my room. And that just created this amazing effect that now my whole identity is that I'm great. And I feel that where? In your spirit. It has become like this spiritual feeling of just, I'm super great. And all I needed to do was clean my room, guys. Oh, you can't even see the bottom. Let's see. Can I drag her up? We were in too deep. Let's do this. Let's not move the cat. Let's move this guy. Technology. Mercury's not even in retrograde. There we go. Now you can see her. The environment and results. So once you clean your room, then you just become an amazing person. And that's how it works, right? That's duh. Duh. So yeah, that's what we generally see. We start with a trickle up effect, right? It trickles up because that's how water works. That's how gravity works. Obviously, we believe that changing the outside world, right? Changing our environment, changing our behaviors, all of that is the key to change. It's so simple. Duh. So yeah, it makes things so much easier. No. This is not how it works. The reality of how everything actually works, the invisible hierarchy, is an upside down hierarchy of change. So we flip everything where we have the spirit, the identity, the value, and the beliefs. All of that, all of the inner work trickles down and creates things in your outer life, So that's the hierarchy of change. Don't tie this into trickle down politics. No, wait, what is trickle down economy? Don't do it. Don't do it. That's not what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the hierarchy of change, you start with your spirit. You have that lead into your identity. That then bleeds into your values and beliefs, which of course impact your capabilities and your behaviors, and then eventually goes into your environment results. Just like Lost Lifetime says, they're like, I keep my stuff clean compulsively, and I don't think it makes me a better person, because it doesn't work that way. And yeah, so the hierarchy of change, so it starts with your spirit, which is our limitless nature, our invisible assistant. It's also the highest purpose. How we say like our higher self, that is your spirit. That's universe, that's source, that is our connection to the universe, spirit. And then identity, that is who we are on the I am level. That's your chosen personality. What are the things that define you as a person? And then we tie down to beliefs and values, what we believe, what we want, what is important to us. If you're ever in a job, like when I was a teacher, that didn't align with my beliefs, it didn't align with my values, I was in a position in which it was appropriate within the school system to not allow children to go outside, to not allow people who are teenagers, like I had to supervise them religiously, and to a degree where it's like these kids didn't have autonomy. They couldn't go to the bathroom without needing to ask and fill out a sign out sheet. I was like, I cannot, my beliefs, my values do not align with taking autonomy away from young adults. That just didn't align with me. So that's why, if you're ever in a position in which your beliefs and values don't line up with where you're working or the environment that you're in, that's why it takes such a huge toll on you. It's a bigger deal than a lot of us think. You're basically, what is borderline your identity is being affected here. And then, of course, our capabilities, that's our skills, that's our knowledge, our behaviors, our actions, our habits, and then what we see in our reality, our results, that's our environment. So if you start with the spirit and let it go down towards your reality, it'll happen. But if you start at the source, if you start at your source, it makes the process so much easier. All right. So yeah, so we're talking about the backwards hierarchy, which is essentially what we were just learned about. So like quick recap. Boop, boop, boop. This is the hierarchy of change. This is how we try to make change. We usually start with the environment and expect it to go up to our spirit. Reality, you should start with your spirit and it'll go down to your environment. So seeing that in practice, let's have an example, right? So it's January 1st and you're ready to get fit. Oh my gosh, new year, new me. Wow, right? And so how we generally tend to use the hierarchy of change, what we generally tend to do is we start with our environment. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be super healthy. It's going to be great. And then you get a gym membership. And then you're like, I'm going to throw out all my junk food. And then you're going to subscribe to a meal service or something, you know? And then you're going to like get a yoga mat. You're going to get new gym clothes. Oh my gosh, I'm so great. You're going to do that. Then, clearly I know how to count too. Step 3, apparently, is you're going to go into your behavior, right? So then you're going to commit to working out like 5 times a week. You're going to eat healthy food only and no junk food. You know, you start with your environment, you get all the things. It's so exciting. If you're a person who has ADHD, like I am, you like to buy new things because it, you know, like that becomes your whole identity. You're like, if I just had all of these things, then my life would be great. And so you get really excited about it. It becomes your new hyper focus, your new hyper fixation. So you get all the things. And then you set these really ambitious goals. I'm going to work out 5 times a week. I'm not going to have any junk food. It's going to be great. And then what happens by February 1st? Nearly a month later, 95% of those people fall off. They can't seem to stick with their habits, no matter what those habits may be. So it may not be like, you know, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and do all this. It may be like, apparently dental hygiene was like a huge New Year's resolution, right? Like a lot of people are like, I'm going to start flossing. It's going to be great. And you fall off within a month. Like within a month, your hygiene has returned back to what it was before, or you're not going to the gym and doing all the things that you planned on doing. Maybe you're like, I'm going to make more art this year. You don't do all of that stuff, right? So all of that falls off. 95% of people fall off. They can't seem to stick with their habits, even when committing to the 21 days makes a habit rule. Y'all have probably heard that. It only takes 21 days to make a habit. All you gotta do is follow it for a month. We can't even stick to it for a month. What do you think we are? Jesus! So why is that the case? They never explored what their beliefs are about getting fit. We've made a little bit of progress, right? Usually whenever you're going on like a long journey, people are like, you need to know your why. Why do you even want to do this? What is the reasoning behind doing this? A lot of people who come up with their why tend to stick with their plans a lot longer. But we never even explored the beliefs about getting fit. Where like our beliefs and stuff, if getting fit was actually the most important value to us, our values, what skill set or tools or knowledge about fitness would we need to have to stay on track? What are our capabilities? If getting fit was part of their bigger mission in life, and they never made becoming fit a part of their new identity. So you started at the very bottom, but you don't even know what are your beliefs about this? What does being fit mean to you? Because we have what media tells us, but it's like, what does that actually mean to you? How does that work for you? So that way it's aligned for you, right? So all of that stuff, it happens. We're working on it backwards, essentially. We're functioning on all of this backwards, which is why it never works for us. So if we were to actually do this and do it in a way that is actually aligned with how you should actually implement changes in your life instead of trying to essentially climb a mountain, you can start from your spirit and let everything fall into place. It happens a lot easier when you just work with the gravity here. So you start with your spirit and you kind of acknowledge, okay, getting fit is part of my biggest mission in life, because the more fit I am, the healthier I am, the better I feel, and the more energy I'll have to commit to all my other priorities in life, right? And then in your identity, you can go, I already am a fit person. That is my new identity from this point forward, and I commit to showing up as the fit person in my life. Again, that's whatever that means to you. That's not society's expectations, media's expectations. Oh, you need to have this body, you need to do this. What does fit mean to you? And as understanding what fit means to you, you can then align yourself with what is being a fit person. What does that look like for you? And then going into your beliefs and values, you believe that you're worthy of being fit. My body easily and effortlessly releases. We're not talking about that. But you don't need protection. Your metabolism's great, blah, blah, blah. Getting fit is important to me now. And we're not talking about the weight thing. I'm not talking about that. It's whatever fitness means to you. So I got this picture from somewhere else. We don't talk about that here. Whatever fitness means to you. And then capabilities. I've done my research and I realized that I need to, maybe if you're saying you want to exercise 5 days, you can be like, I want to exercise 5 days. That feels best for me. That's what I want to do. Or you can say, I want to remove processed foods that don't have nutritional value. That's what works for me. Again, whatever works for you. This is an example. Blah, 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 blah. And then you take that into your behaviors. You're like, I'm going to work out 5 times a week. I'm going to eat healthy foods. I'm not going to have processed foods. That all trickles down into your behavior, and those environmental changes, blah, 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 then equal results. So the buying of the gym clothes, the like manically throwing out all of your junk food, all of that comes later if that's what you want to do. But you need to start from your spirit first and let that trickle down. All right. So that was just a little bite-sized piece. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at this, but we're almost done, you guys. Congratulations. So let's take a quick self-awareness check though. Keeping the hierarchy in mind as we move forward, think about, have you been using the hierarchy backwards? What are some ways in which you've been doing it backwards? When you just focus on like your behavior and your environment, and how have you been utilizing this hierarchy incorrectly, so to speak? Or have you been focusing on your identity and trickling it down from there? What shifts can you make right now to instill new positive habits based on the life that you want to live? What are some shifts and changes that you can do on a spiritual level and into an identity level that can create things that you actually want in your life? And I believe that's all we got. Let's go back to Big Me. You get to see Big Me. Ready? Welcome to Big Me. So, hello. Yeah, that's essentially our quick look into the hierarchy of change, our look into what the manifestation course essentially looks like, and just kind of building up excitement for that. It's really exciting. But before I razzle dazzle on out of here, I did want to open up if there's anybody who had questions or anything like that they wanted to go ahead and drop in the chat, anything that they might want some further insight on, stuff like that. So please feel free, utilize this space to do all of that. And while y'all are coming up with any questions you might have, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick breakdown of what the course looks like. Like I said, I was going to jump back to the beginning slide that I have that's kind of a breakdown of the 20 weeks, and then I'm going to razzle dazzle on out of here, which I will be saying so much more often now. That is a great saying. Please steal that saying. Excuse me while I razzle dazzle on out of here. So yeah, just a quick overview of the next 20 weeks. It is broken down into several phases. I put an asterisk by 20 because people take breaks. I might get sick. It's 6 months, you guys. So it's an average, it's approximately 20 weeks, but there is several phases that this is broken down into. I'll just go over kind of how these are broken down so you understand. If you're like, but I'm not in Unicole. You ever thought about joining a cult, man? You want to join a cult? I have like a thing I can do, like the little trench coat. Hey, you wanna learn about the universe, kids? You wanna learn about some aliens? So let's see. Mama D, you said you want to know where I got these earrings. I got these from an artist. I was at a marketplace like a couple weeks ago because I was what was I doing? I was selling desserts and stuff. I have a business where I sell like magic infused desserts, and there was an artist who was selling really cool earrings, and I was like, these are super cool. But yes, 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 yes. Unimagic says, looks exciting. I'm so excited that you're excited about excitement. And little non-intuitive secret, action actually comes before motivation. Yeah, you need to, we're actually going to be talking about that. What are we talking about? What's the word? Inspired action is what we're going to be talking about as well. If you join the course, if you join UNICULT, this is all one big propaganda. Join UNICULT, join UNICULT. Okay, but an overcult, I'm too deep into the cult. An overview of the next 20 weeks, and then I'll razzle dazzle on out of here. So, our foundation phase is week 1. It's 1 week. So that's phase 1 is the foundation phase. That's an introduction to the program. That's learning what makes the program different and effective than other programs. Like I said, programs that are just like, just pay $300. I'm just going to tell you that if you're just positive, then everything's going to work so great. So it's not like those programs. And what makes this program different? We're going to talk about setting and powerful intentions. There will be an intention setting ceremony as well. I'll also pull up the calendar so you guys can check it out. Setting powerful intentions, and that the universe can't help but get behind. We're going to be digging deep into the primary motives behind why you desire the things that you desire, so you become an irresistible magic to them. Like I said, ask questions, understand why. Why do you even want to do this? What is the point? Then after phase 1, the foundation phase, we're going to get into the unlearn phase, which is about 3 weeks long. So that's understanding how your reality is created, exactly how manifestation works, learning how to shape your reality on purpose, the immutable laws of manifestation. The unlearn phase is filled with lots of science, 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 science. So if you're like, science, sign me up, then we got tons of that for you. We're going to be talking about physics. We're going to be talking about what is it called? I was just about to, it's the thing, you guys. It's, what is it? Placebo. Whoa, that just fell out of my head for a second. The placebo effect. We're going to be talking about that as well. But we're going to be talking about scientific proof of manifestation and understanding it outside of just a spiritual sense. We're going to be talking about the spiritual aspect as well, but this is a way to make it accessible to everybody who may not be like, I don't believe in all of the spiritual stuff, but I do understand facts and logic and how science works. So we're going to be talking about that. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the spiritual aspect as well, understanding the subconscious mind, which can be interchangeable with the unconscious mind, unlearning outdated information and misconceptions that get you stuck. We're going to be distinguishing between the higher self and the ego self, understanding why it's important to tune into your higher self, an intro to the 4-step manifestation process. We haven't even gotten to the 3rd phase yet. This is a packed full thing, dude. And then in our third phase, it's going to be the release. So we set the foundation, we began to unlearn all of this stuff, and now we need to release that stuff because we're like, okay, now I understand this, but what do I do with this? How do you get rid of that? So we're going to be talking about dissolving those hardwired beliefs and emotional triggers that are keeping you stuck in your past and conditioning. We're going to be having tools and practices to be able to shift any limiting belief painlessly. That's jumping into your desired timeline. We're going to be doing shadow work. The entire course is shadow work, but we're really going to be leaning into it and looking at like how does your shadow self experience, how do you integrate your shadow self into yourself, because it's a part of you. Like you can't just get rid of it. You need to understand these parts of you and speak to those parts of you and understand how to integrate that to yourself. Okay. We have the rewire phase, which is phase 4, which is encoding new empowering beliefs. We essentially built a foundation. We understood why we are the way that we are. We dissolved those things that made us the way that we are, that we don't like. And now we're learning how to rewire. Now that we learn all this new information, what do we do with it? How do we start to put those things in place? Encoding new empowering beliefs to replace old detrimental beliefs, habits, and thought patterns that were previously running your life. Releasing self-sabotage and understanding why the universe occasionally tests you. Creating massive shifts through identity work, setting new standards for yourself in the new reality that you're determined to live, getting crystal clear of what you want in life, understanding your purpose on the deepest level, creating and embodying the new you and the version of you that's already living their dream life. Again, most like manifestation courses, they're like, oh my gosh, guys, they start you here. They're like, all you got to do is replace your limiting beliefs and think positive, and then you can get your entire life. But it's like we didn't even talk about what those beliefs were. We didn't even talk about, like, why am I the way that I am? You're just telling me to jump forward and just start fixing my life. I need to understand and process the stuff that was happening in my past first. We're going to do that. Then we actually get to the relearn phase, where we're actually talking about the process of manifestation, quantum jumping and timeline collapsing, manifestation by design. There is an actual different way that people manifest depending on, it's kind of like astrology, where it's like when you were born this date at this time, blah, blah, blah. It kind of builds up your human design. We're going to talk about that. The 4-step manifestation in depth. We're going to be harnessing our intuition, learning about the co-creation process, how to create with the universe. Whew, we're almost done, guys. Putting the manifestation formula in action, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to get into the recreate phase, which is our last phase. Thank Uni. Our last phase is the recreation phase, where we're going to be becoming the full embodiment of our higher selves to the highest potential. We're going to just be tying everything all together, making manifestation a lifelong process and experiment and experience, and then troubleshooting any issues that may come up in the process, and then also just talking about a bunch of further resources because I have tons of books. I do a lot of reading and like video essay watching. Like I said, I watched a whole video essay before we got here on the importance of hydration. Have you been drinking water throughout this? Drink your water, my dude. And yeah, so I'll talk about this a little bit later. That's if you actually join the course. But yeah, that's kind of just a breakdown of so yeah, let me know if there's anything that you all need. But like I said, I'm gonna pop up the calendar. It's the last thing I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna just razzle dazzle on out of here. So this is the calendar. Thank you, Google Sheets, for making an amazing spreadsheet. This is our calendar. So it's going to be starting on the 18th, like I said, July 18th. So that's not this Tuesday, the 11th, the following Tuesday. We're going to start Module 1, Part 1. I break this down into several parts, so it's bite-sized. I'm not going to just shove information in your face. Sometimes I will, but I try to break it down a little bit. Module 1, Part 1, Phase 1. All you need to know is that we're going to be having a session on Tuesday. That's all you need to know. Module 1, Part 2 comes out that Thursday, the 20th, and then on the 25th, we'll have an intention setting ceremony. Like I mentioned, there will be an intention setting ceremony. On the 27th, we're going to be starting Phase 2, also Module 2, August 1st, the day before my birthday. We're going to be doing Module 2, Part 2, and then August 3rd, the day after my birthday, we're going to be doing module 2 part 3. So yay! But that's just a breakdown. Like I said, if you're in UNICULT, then we will have a more in-depth session. The first session will essentially be like the first day of school. Like I said, I was a teacher. I say that like every camp church. The first session will be like the first day of school, and it's just you can come with questions. It'll be pretty chill. So that's it. That's me. That's everything. And it was really awesome having you all here. And I will see you all next Tuesday if you're in Unicole. Anyway, all right, bye, you guys. Have an amazing